It's not gainsaying that Nigeria seems to be in the deep as it concerns the economy, with current debt pulled at 89.2 trillion naira and the dollar to the naira ratio pulled at 1,200 naira to a dollar. Businesses and factories either closing shop or downsizing and adding to an already alarming unemployment rate of 35%. Many would say, indeed, it seems that we are not only in the deep, but in the very deep blue sea. But how can we change the narrative? And what new ways should be introduced to help navigate through the stormy waters? One sector or institution many are looking up to bring about the innovation for a transformative economic diversification and rebirth is our higher institutions of learning. Taking the ball by the horn, the Delta State University Faculty of Science seems to be taking up that challenge. Hence, we'll have an international conference with the team unleashing the potentials of science for innovative and transformative economic diversification, and also launch its business canvas model exhibition, all in a bid to set the course for that much sought after direction for our businesses to thrive. So on the show today, we shall be taking a look at that very important international conference that is slated this week in the university town of Abraka, and hence also be looking at the very topic, unleashing the potentials of science for transformative economic growth. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on The Big Story. We're looking at unleashing the potentials of science for a transformative economic growth. And as much as we're looking at that as a topic, we'll also be looking at that very international conference that is slated this week, should on the 6th to on the 9th, all in the bid to pave that direction on what needs to be done to change the narrative. But anyway, they are right here in the studio with me. I'm talking about members of the Delta State University and the Faculty of Science, Abraka. And to join us, I have two lovely guests, but I'll be joined later because there are more than two here on the beat to keep us informed on what would be happening this week. And we know particular order, but I need to introduce him first. I'm talking about the Dean of Faculty of Science of DELSU, and I'm talking about Professor Austin Atunoje. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, welcome, sir.
And also joining is the chairman of the local organizing committee, and I'm talking of Professor Godfrey E. Apojoto. I hope I'm right with that.
Yes, Apojoto.
Apojoto. Good morning and welcome to it also.
Oh, thank you very much, Gobadia. It's nice to be here, and I thank you and your station, of course, the CEO and chairman for this opportunity given to us.
Well, anyway, it's also well appreciated, especially as you people forced ahead to really see if they'll bring about innovative technology that can help us deal with the troubled times we seem to be, especially as it concerns the economy. And well, anyways, I just really want to come to you, and I'm talking of no other person but Professor Austin. And a quick one. Now, give us a brief history of the Faculty of Science of Delta State University, so at least we can truly understand that first before we usher into the discussion itself.
Thank you very much, sir, for the opportunity. The Faculty of Science, Delta State University, Abraka, is as old as the university itself.
Okay.
The university was established in February 1992, okay. And at the same time, this faculty was established alongside.
Okay.
Before then, the Abraka as a campus,
yes,
was under Bende State University at Ekpoma.
Yes.
But in 1992, immediately the state Delta was created and Edo was created. Edo State announced their own side as Edo State University. Mm-hmm. While Delta was hanging, our governor then was Governor Obudere Lurugu Ibru.
Okay.
Was the governor, and I was a student then in the school. Mm-hmm. I was in 12 level. It was declared. Our people became the first set to graduate from that faculty at the same time, and I happened to make first class.
Wow! And
the result of that, after service, I was retained to become a graduate assistant to lecture. From there, I went to Ibadan for masters. I went back to Ibadan again for PhD, and in 2022, I was elected as the dean.
Okay.
Before now, I am the 10th dean. The first dean that came was from the Department of Mathematics, Professor P.N. Okonta. Okay. He started the faculty, and followed by Professor P. N. Uku from microbiology. We have Professor G. Ugbe from the same microbiology, Professor S.H.O. Igbo from chemistry, followed by Professor Eso Asagba from biochemistry, Professor Edwin Adaikbo from geology, and Professor Ato Ekpekbo from physics, Professor J.N., that is Nero John Bull Tonukari, the present Commissioner for Higher Education.
Wow.
Was my immediate past dean. He handed over to me himself from biochemistry, and I'm a mathematician. Wow. Professor Austin Atunuje. Presently, we're having 11 departments in the faculty. The first of them is the Department of Animal and Environmental Biology. The head of the department is Dr. Shoma Ojaona. We still have biochemistry following Professor F.I. Ashuba is the head of the department. Botany, Dr. Grace Obi Iyeke. The fourth of the department, chemistry, Professor P.O. Agbaire. Fifth, computer science, Dr. Iber Eje. Then sixth, geology, Dr. Uwogere Asuma. Then mathematics followed, Dr. P. Izimado. The eighth department, medical laboratory science, Dr. DJ Jemi Kalaja. Department number 9, Department of Microbiology, Dr. Mrs. Olivia Egbule. The 10th department, physics, Professor Mike Osile. And finally, the Department of Science Laboratory Technology, headed by Professor Uwe Uriri Ben.
Okay. I really want you to continue on that, and thank you for giving us an elaborate understanding of the faculty and how many departments seems to be there. But because of time, I'll quickly really want us to continue on that trajectory. Now, I'd rather come to you, Professor Godfrey, and a quick one, because this will be one of the first time we're having such an international conference, all saddled with the responsibility of finding innovations, dwelled on research that will deal with the issue of our dire economy. So I really would want to know what was the innovation for such initiative in coming up with this conference.
Okay, thank you very much. The first thing here is that this is the 7th one.
Oh, 7th in the making.
The first one was around 2011.
Okay.
The whole idea was that maybe what happened was that there was something we helped in organizing with the Delta State government, Delta State Waste Management Board then. Okay. And we discovered that when I was the facilitator, and Udrago, I think, was the secretary to the state government then.
As of then.
Yes, as of then. So we went there, it was waste to wet. Okay. And Professor Ogbemantis, who was my DVC academist then, we invited him to give a talk. And when I returned, I discovered that a colleague in chemistry was actually able to convert these eggshells to paints. Okay. Wow. Yes. So it dawned on me that probably one of the things we also have in universities is that we are not able to interact more. That here was a colleague, and look at the topic, waste to wet. So I would have invited him if I had known this was his area of specialization. Right. So the initial thing, we initiated the conference with the mindset that first we want to be able to know among ourselves who is doing what. Who is doing what. So that will now a kind of encourage collaboration among us. And of course, when we go out, as we meet somebody, say, look, this area I'm working, and I want somebody to collaborate. I say, okay, I have a colleague who is working in this area. So we can also do what? A kind of enhanced collaboration, not within the university, but even outside the university, especially as the world is moving into multidisciplinary research. Yes, so that was the reason we initiated the first one. So over the years, we have had the first 3 conferences were organized with myself as the secretary of the local organizing committee. Why Professor Nyerugo Tonikari, who is now the Commissioner for Higher Education, was the chairman for those 3 conferences. Wow. So since then, we have had the 4th one, the 5th one, the 6th one, and this is the 7th one. Now, you ask, why the initiative?
Yes.
You rightly said that the university has to do what? Drive the research. It is what is done in other places.
Yeah.
Now, for presently, if you look at Delta State University, if you ask anybody in the street what they think about Delta State University, is that it's a place where their children get education, get admission. Once you remember Delta State University, you remember admission, right?
Yes.
My child is there and all that. But that is not a core mandate, okay? That is not just a mandate alone, not to educate the people, but also to solve our problem, to drive the solution. So what we say now, especially with our new Vice Chancellor,
yes,
he brought in all these ideas of, look, let us solve our problem using local content. Therefore, so what we are doing now is to drive home the whole idea that Nigeria, if you want your solution, you have to start from the university.
Of course.
And that is what we are doing. Because the average scientist today, if you look at him, he does research. But we had the research, the one in chefs. Beautiful research.
And how impactful have this been research been on the people itself?
Because the research is in the chefs. And one of our colleagues recently cried that a beautiful research he did here, only to discover, I don't want to measure for security reasons or for legal issue, a country used the publication, got a product for it, a pharmaceutical company in another country, and they are making millions from that particular research result.
It's our loss.
It's our loss. And the man now is a professor doing well, but just imagine such millions coming to him. So those are the ideas. So the entrepreneur in Nigeria wants the scientists to do the research. That is what we discover. He wants the scientists to market the product. He wants it to advertise the product. Okay, and it is only when the product is very successful
and viable,
that is when he wants to come in. And therefore, that entrepreneurial spirit is not in the Nigeria entrepreneur for science research. So what do? We have to take the bull by the horn. So today, the drive here is the scientist wants to do what? Want to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Okay, he wants to be able to come out with a product or service for his research ideas. Thereafter, he will market it. He will advertise first. He will market it. Okay? And in doing so, we are going to have spin-off small-scale industry,
yes,
medium-scale industry, and even large industry, which is what is done outside here.
Okay. Yeah. Now, let me quickly come to you now, Professor Austin Atonoje. I do know that the Faculty of Science Business Canvas model, it's also a major thing that will also be showcased during that very international conference. But anyway, I'm curious to ask, now, what is this all about, especially that model?
The idea of the model is to bring our research ideas to the public for commercial financing, and so that, for instance, if we are having products outside there produced by companies and so on, the prices are high.
Yes.
Data students will come out. We have them there. We just need encouragement, financial encouragement, so that we're coming out financial blue. We're coming, that is a commercial blue, come out, and the people we buy our product, see it produced, not just make it research, keeping it. So I told them that this time I'm on board. So with my local organization and the department, so our department are waiting that they were going to display what we have done.
Wow.
If government can support us. Luckily, our commissioner was our immediate past dean.
So he knows the importance of such.
Yes, we visited him, and he was very happy that even when he was there, he tried to bring this, and the governor is interested that the university should not be just a place of training the people for degree purposes without seeing their products
and their impact.
And that is the idea of that business canvas model. So it's a model for.
But you only said business. You only spoke about the government. What of the private sector? Can they also not come in and collaborate with such beautiful research to not only talk of gains to the general public, but also be more like financial gains to them that put in that investment? So the private sector not also invited itself?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They're invited. But private sector, they want us to come and something first. That is
let it be vital. Yes. You know the average Nigerian businessman.
Yes.
Okay. It's not ready to take the kind of risk from starting from scratch. They want to see anything that is happening and is successful before they can put in their money. Okay. So what we are doing now, we want to put ourselves in the shoe of the businessman.
Okay. Understand his pains, understand his vision.
Yes.
Okay.
Then go in, take the risk. Okay. And by the way, why are we even doing this? You will ask, does the university have what it takes?
Yes.
I'll tell you we have what it takes. First, there are 4 factors of production, as we learn in economics, basic economics. Which are they? Land, labor, entrepreneurship, and capital.
Of course.
And the university have 3 of these in abundance. If you go to Delta State University, we have abundant land. And for your information, Delta State University is one of the few universities in the world that has a river, that river Ethiopia, flowing through its border.
Wow.
If you remember, as we studied in those days history, what makes Egypt to become great was river line.
Nile.
Here we have a river. If we want to construct power there, generate power, we can.
Okay.
Okay, we want field, whatever we want. We have a river, so we have land. That is one. They're talking about labor. We have, imagine, over 30,000 students. Can you have beat that force? Not in another place in Delta State. That's already a labor force. Both academic, now if you include academics. So we already have what? The human
labor.
capital in abundance. Then when you talk about entrepreneurship, what is entrepreneurship? It's the thinker, the man who can take the risk. And I can tell you, that labor force also is also what can take
But the capital is what I was going there.
is now let me go to the capital. As we have said, the entrepreneur does not want to take risk.
Of course.
So we want to start small. As you rightly said, how do we bring in the industry? The whole idea of the business canvas model is not just to commercialize our ideas, but also to be able to attract the interest of the industry. Okay, so now, as my dean was saying, each of these departments, they have different packages. You are going to see we've turned e-sets.
Okay.
We've turned e-set lava to beautiful candies.
Wow.
To meat pie. To different kinds of...
Well, anyway, I will plead with you because I need a taste of that later.
No, when you come, the head of the department is preparing a lot of things.
No problem.
And I can assure you one good thing. The difference between the difference between what we have here is the nutritional value, the medicinal value. Okay, more than all these synthetic things we import as well our system. These are really
I'll bring the both of you before we really digest into that. My tummy is already doing me. Well, anyway, we need to go on a break now. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion centered on this today. Let's go on a break.